Hi everybody, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to repair a scratch in your car's paint like the pros. So somebody decided to key my car, so this is the type of scratch that we're going to be working on today. Let's get right into it. So the very first step that we're going to take here is to wash the car, making sure to clean the car thoroughly of any dirt, grime, dust, whatever could be getting in the way of us physically seeing the damage or could potentially add more scratches when we're actually working on the vehicle. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Alright, so now that we got the car nice and clean where we want it, we'll go ahead and pull the car up to a spot where we're not going to get in the way of anybody else or not going to get any moisture buildup, because we will be sanding it down. We don't want any moisture that can cause any rust. So the next step that we're going to want to take is we're going to look over the damaged area and we're going to make a game plan of exactly everything that we need to remove in order for us to be able to paint it without any paint lines or anything that can get in our way, essentially. So in my case, I have to remove stuff from the fenders, from the doors, from the quarter panel, and the bumpers. But in your case, it might be different. So be sure to look over everything that you need to do according to your damage. A great tip I can give you is to make sure that you label as much things as possible and group everything that you can, so that when you put it back together, you know exactly where everything goes. So now that we got everything out of the way, we're all ready to start sanding down the scratches and getting it all ready for the next step. So because this wasn't really accident related and more so a scratch, I went ahead and grabbed the orbital sander with 180 grit, and then later on moving on to 220 and then 320 to feather it out as well as remove the sand scratches. You want to make sure you're keeping the orbital sander as flat as possible on the panel to prevent any highs and lows as well as divots. What you see me doing here is I'm using my hand to feel if I can still feel the scratch at all. A good way to tell if you've feathered it out properly is if you can see all the different layers of the paint. Now that you've finished working on the damaged area, it's time to move on to the area that you're going to be blending the paint into. I like to use 800 grit on an orbital sander. It's important that you don't break through the paint though, so that's something you have to be careful for. Now that you've finished with the 800 grit, it's time to move on to a red Scotch pad. And this allows you to get into all the little nooks and crannies or edges that the 800 grit wasn't able to. Okay, now you're going to want to take a blowgun and just blow all of the sanding dust off of the vehicle so we can get ready to mask it up for primer. Okay, now it's time to mask. You're going to want to start with your edges first, and then later on put masking paper over top of it. A good tip on avoiding hard lines or hard edges when painting or priming is to fold back the paper like this, so it becomes overspray instead of more so hard lines, if that makes sense. Now that we got the vehicle primed, you want to just let that sit for a little bit and make sure that it cures properly so that when you're sanding it, it doesn't really ball up on the sandpaper or give you any difficulty. So after you've let the car sit for a couple hours, you're ready to start sanding. I used a hard block with 220 grit, and then I moved on to an orbital with 220 and then 320 to remove the scratches, followed by a scuff pad. Now it's time to pull the car into the booth. From here, you're going to want to retape everything and then put some new masking paper on, as well as a plastic bag to cover the rest of the vehicle from overspray. Now we're going to be using a surface prep cleaner or wax and grease remover to clean off the surface to remove it of any residues, oils, dirt, or debris that may react with the following paint products that we're going to be using. And now we're going to be using a tack cloth, and what a tack cloth does is it basically is a sticky surface that removes anything that wasn't taken off with the wax and grease remover. So because my vehicle's paint is a tri-stage and the area of damage is a little bit more spread out, I decided to use a sealer primer over the entire side of the vehicle, whereas you might only need to use it on the areas that have bodywork. My base coat and clear coat footage got corrupted somehow, but essentially what you want to do with your base coat is you want to spray over top of wherever you sprayed your sealer, and then the next layer you go a little bit past that, and then if you need to, your next layer go a little bit further than that just to get that blending illusion. And then for the clear coat, what you want to do is just you want to go over everything, the entire panel. Once you've let the clear coat dry a little bit, you're all set to put the car back together as you took it off. And chances are the car got a little bit dusty from all the sanding, so you're going to want to spray it down a little bit. And there you go. That's how you fix a car scratch like the pros. If this video has helped you out in any way or taught you anything, feel free to subscribe and like for more videos just like this. If you have any feedback or any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. I hope you all have a good day, and God bless.